Okay, you guys, I'm trying something a little radical here. I have not done this recipe before, but I had this idea after trying that chia pudding that I would try and make um, chocolate chia pudding because I think I could wrap my head around the texture. And I'm adapting a frosting recipe. I actually make this frosting sometimes to snack on. I'll put it in like a little 2-ounce Tupperware container, and then I'll just have like, just shy of 2 ounces of this sugar-free frosting that I make with like a tablespoon of chunky peanut butter on top, and that's like a little sweet treat in the afternoon. It's not super nutritious, it just keeps me from eating a Snickers bar. So I thought I would try and adapt this frosting recipe. You start with a tablespoon of Kerrygold salted butter. Don't judge me, I'm trying here. I'm trying to find a way to eat chia seeds because they're so good for you. They're like high in fiber and nutrients, and I feel like the texture of the last chia pudding that I made, I could wrap my head around. It was like the flavor that wasn't that great. So then I'm going to add a tablespoon of golden monk fruit. If you're a baker, this recipe is going to look familiar. It's basically like a cocoa frosting recipe, but instead of whipping cream, I'm adding Siggi's Nonfat yogurt. So typically you sort of like let the sugar, it's normally sugar, dissolve, and it's normally like a half a cup of sugar, but I'm just using a tablespoon of golden monk fruit, like Lakanto. So you let the sugar dissolve a little bit in the butter. Let the butter sizzle just a little bit. Waiting for it to sizzle. And then after that, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of high quality cocoa powder. My favorite is actually the Guittard Cocoa Rouge. You can use any high quality powder. It doesn't matter if it's Dutch process or non-Dutch process. Just whatever you like. I might order some King Arthur on Black Friday. They have a dark cocoa powder blend on their website that looked really good to me. So once butter is like just starting to brown a little bit, and this is 2 tablespoons, it's like my shake container. You add your cocoa and stir it up. Let the cocoa kind of like dissolve a little bit in the butter. It's gonna look like weird and chunky like that. Take it off the heat. I'm hoping this is really good. I'm adding a half a cup of hazelnut milk. I'm hoping it'll give it like a little bit of a Nutella action. And then you're gonna stir this until that lump of chocolate, cocoa, butter, sugar dissolves into the hazelnut milk until it's totally smooth. I find a whisk works really well for this, so if you have a metal pan, make sure you're using a plastic coated whisk. Break up all those lumps. It's literally the first time I'm making this recipe, so that's why this tutorial is so janky. Make sure you get all the lumps out. That's the trickiest part with this frosting. And it's really important that you just use cocoa, butter, sugar, milk for this recipe, because if you try to add chips in it, sometimes if you use the wrong kind of chips, something happens and it turns into like a lumpy lump of chocolate mush. It's not very great. right. So it should look like that. It should look kind of like Hershey's syrup texture when you're done. All the lumps smoothed out. Now I'm going to take it off the heat. Stir in like a teaspoon of vanilla. Smells really good. Now I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of these chia seeds. It's a little short, a little bit more. Stir it all up. And then I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of Siggi's non-fat plain yogurt. You can let this cool and then stir it in if you want. I'm just going to mix it in right now. I don't think it's going to make that big a deal. I'm so excited. If this is good, I'm gonna have like a chocolate chia pudding that I can live with. And I'll eat it every day I can. This looks promising. So that's what it looks like, just brown mush. I'm gonna put this in the fridge overnight, let the chia seeds swell, and then I'll check in tomorrow and let you know how it tastes. Okay, y'all, it's the great chia seed experiment, part 2. This is my hazelnut chocolate chia pudding. And I'm hoping that it sort of tastes like chocolate cheesecake. So here we go. Ooh, the texture's nice. It's fluffy like chocolate mousse. That is pretty darn good. Ooh. I think this is a dangerous win. This is so much better than the last one I made. It's so much better. Oh man. This is really good. This tastes like chocolate cheesecake mousse. You can definitely taste the sourness of like the Greek yogurt. So if you can't handle the sourness, if it's too tangy for you, you might need to try something like maybe like low-fat ricotta instead of Greek yogurt, which is lower protein and higher fat. It might be higher carb. But if you can handle the tang of Greek yogurt, this is really, really good. And it's really good for you. Chia seeds are like, they have like 11 grams of fiber per tablespoon. And like 1 gram of net carbs. And they are a superfood. They're filled with like omega-3s and antioxidants. I'm gonna post this recipe. You're gonna like this. This is a win. Woohoo!